I auditioned all for musical theatre. I wanted musical theatre. When I went there, it changed my perspective completely. Recalled for acting and Acting CDT. So not even musical theatre. I was just open to trying it. I'm less of a dancer. I'm more of I said this earlier, a happy mover. It went well.
Yeah.
It happened. Stop reflecting now. There's only so much you can reflect upon.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I absolutely live for improv. It's my favourite thing because I actually don't overthink it. You cannot. I've been following this improv group for so long. They're called Shoot From The Hip.
We very frequently came back to rewind or change, add our own variations onto it, and it was from clips I've seen of them.
I'm very proud of being Welsh, so much. I think in Wales, the sort of performance culture is very, very, heavy, and I've always had that opportunity. So in CDT, they really preach, that you embrace your culture, embrace who you are.
That's brilliant.
And it's so good.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Movement Theories podcast. We have some very exciting news. We're branching out and today we have a guest from the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama. We're joined by Sophie.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Thank you for coming on. So we're going to be talking everything NYMT, BYMT, everything Central, everything being Welsh.
Yeah.
Just all sorts, covering lots of performance in lots of different ways because we have similar experiences, but then also lots of contrasting experiences. So it's going to be really interesting. So my name's Josh. Welcome to the podcast. Okay, Sophie. So something I've been doing recently is asking this question that gives me an idea of gives me this impression of you before I even know you properly.
Okay.
And then what I like to do is throughout the episode, see if my first impression changes. This will also be the same for the audio listeners. So I like to ask who inspires you.
Well, so it sounds really like everyone says this, but it is in fact my mum.
Oh, it's a classic. But what is the reasoning behind that? How is she?
She's just I don't know. Well, we're just best friends, right?
That's really nice.
So I think I've got that. And I think she's just really wise in her ways. And it's classic, that's what mums are like. Do you know what I mean? But we've always been so close. She's my best friend. She always helps me in situations, which I know that's what mums are supposed to do. But I don't know. I'm a really family-orientated person. So it's not only my mum. It's anything, my nan, my bab, It's just, I'm do you know what I mean? Oh, I can't even express it.
I'll go deeper in the then, or more specific.
Yeah.
In the world of theatre,
okay.
Has she inspired you or influenced you in that way? I mean, maybe if it's driving to long rehearsals or anything to do with that. This
is the thing. So she's always encouraged it.
Good.
And a lot of people I know through doing theatre and that, you've got a lot of friends I had, it was harder for them to convince can I please do this, and it wouldn't really work out. But she's always been there for me, and she's always taken me to everything. She's very active about auditions. That was, do you know what I mean? She was always there to always prepared to pay for it to drive me there. She'd wait around. I remember when I did my first Central audition, it was in Bristol. I decided to do it in Bristol.
When was this?
And 1st of February, I want to say. I think it was the start of the month, and I think it was around that time.
So you've got into Central first time rounds as an 18-year-old?
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
That is impressive. And you're on Acting CDT, which is collaborative.
Yeah.
Because I always thought it was contemporary.
Yeah,
collaborative device theatre. We'll go into this later.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah. So your first one was in Bristol.
Yeah, and I remember that day. It was we were driving there, and we just made it on time, and it was quite stressful, and I was so nervous because it was the only because I auditioned all for musical theatre, and then this was the one audition that was quite open. So, acting, musical theatre, and then CDT.
Yes. Did you go into audition with a specific, what is it about that word? A specific course in mind, or were you more
Yeah. Well, I wanted musical theatre because, I just thought, I thought that's what I wanted. I still want to do it. But
and you still could?
Yeah. I still am hopefully going to.
Yeah.
But I went in thinking that because that's what I'd been auditioning for. And that's what I've done all my life. I never really took any... I love acting, and I did the 2-year Young Actor Studio course at the Royal Welsh College while I was in sixth form. So I did that on a Sunday, and I really found a love for acting and that expression just through words and through. It's still there's still singing involved, but do you know what I mean? It's more acting based. So what was the point I was making? Oh yeah, so I went in thinking musical theatre, not thinking much of like acting, that, not thinking that I would be, and it sounds sad, but good enough to go through with the acting, but sort of more balanced, you know, singer, actor, whatever. But when I went there, it changed my perspective completely. I wasn't just about, do you know what I mean? It wasn't, as soon as I went in, and I got recalled, so you get recalled on the day.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so I did the morning session.
Some of us do. Some of us didn't.
But in the morning session, and then you find out at like midday if you got recalled. Oh, it was the worst feeling. I had my hands in my pockets and like my fingers were crossed. Like I really, really wanted it. Yeah. But they tell you like in front of everyone, and it's so scary.
Yeah. And there's the walk of shame out.
Yeah, and it's the nice to meet you, goodbye.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's like,
see you, good luck.
Yeah.
Oh, but I remember I was like, oh, I really, really hope I get it. And obviously my mum didn't know. She was like, just let me know, because if you get a recall, then she would have had to stay longer, and I would have gone on until like 7 o'clock rather than finish at 12. So yeah, they tell you, and I got recalled for acting and acting CDT, so not even musical theatre.
Yeah, it is.
And I remember going up to the woman, like the one who was like the administrator or something, and I was like, are you sure they got it right? Like, not thinking like, but I thought if anything it would be musical theatre. I didn't think it would be acting.
And a recall for like the acting course, then it's just
another
that's
one.
crazy. Yeah.
That's the thing, but I don't know. So I think I went into that thinking musical theatre. I come out thinking, I hope, just to challenge myself, that it's not, and it wasn't, and that was the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
It really changed my perspective, in such a good way. I was just open to it.
Yeah,
that's, I think, something that's really like that pushed me, was that I was just open to trying it.
With how many plays did you audition for in total? Do you have a rough estimate?
So I did GSA, Mount View. Oh, what else? More of the acting, singy, musical theatre courses rather than like the dancing. So I didn't try for Burren or Erdang, because I'm less of a dancer. I'm more of a, I said this earlier, a happy mover.
Happy mover. Oh, that's so sweet.
I enjoy the movement, but I'm not a dancer. So I don't, all the sort of main ones.
Yeah. How did your then audition experience, did it change your perspective a lot, or did it keep it the same?
Yes, it really, really changed my perspective. So I all the musical theatre, Trinity Laban as well.
Oh yes, yeah.
And I got reserved for Trinity Laban. Nice. And I really wanted that one. That one was like, if I thought I was going to do musical theatre, I really wanted that one. And like, I didn't have a top. I didn't want to have a top school. Everyone says like, oh, I want this. This is my first choice, second choice. Like, I didn't want to do that because it's in the industry, you just got to throw yourself out there and see where you're given and take that. And I'm a strong believer in like fate and, stuff like that. So I was like, you just got to take what comes to you. Yeah, and totally. If it feels right, do it. So anyway, so when I did the Trinity Laban audition, that was really good. But what I found in that was that I really liked the acting side more than anything. I worried too much about the singing, and the dance was just like, happy moving. The acting is what I enjoyed, and I was like, I didn't think anything of it. And then when I went in to do the central audition, that was so interesting. It was, so we go in, right, and I'll just say a bit about like what happened in the day. So I didn't want to, with all the London auditions, it was like you booked it for the next week. And I just couldn't do that. Like, I would have been coming from Wales. I know people come from further, but I just thought, like, if there's anywhere I can do it nearer, and then Bristol is nearer. Yeah. So I was like, nice, I'll do it in Bristol. It gave me a good month to sort out. And you have to sort out a devised piece. And you've got pictures, like paintings as like a, what's the word, inspiration.
Yeah, I've got a story behind the devised piece element.
So you've got that. And then you have to do a song, but it's unaccompanied, I think, if I remember. And then 2 monologues. Your contemporary and your classical. Is that what they're called, yeah? Contemporary and classical? Yeah,
I think you do the first one in your first round, and then if you get recalled again, you do a second. Is how I remember it.
I think I went into the audition and they said, so you're going to come up, everyone's going to do this one monologue, sit back down, and then go back, do your contemporary monologue, sit back down.
See, I only remember doing one.
Did you go to London?
Yeah.
I think it was a different experience there.
Okay.
Because, and like, when, so if there was like 2 groups, I think, wasn't it? Did this happen to you as well?
So group wise, there were. No, I think we had quite a lot.
Really?
I think we had like over 100 people, and
so they had to separate
groups
them in,
of like.
And 10. You had a tour, didn't you? Like a tour.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we, obviously, because we were in Bristol, we went in the central building. We were just separated into 2 groups. There was quite a few of us actually, but 2 groups, and it was like A and B, and I was in Group B, and they were like, we're going to take Group A in, and we're going to be about 4 hours, and it was just like,
So
what do we do? Like, so we were sat there. So I was like, I'm just going to talk to people, get to know everyone, because otherwise I'll just sit here and worry about my monologues. So I was like, we were like talking, and then I was like, let's play a game. And I love to do this, right? My favourite question to ask anyone is like, if you were a gel pen colour, what gel pen colour would you be?
Maybe we should do that for the podcast. We'll make that a new question. Get rid of who inspires you. If you're a gel pen colour.
What gel pen colour would you be?
What's your answer first?
Right,
let me
I actually have thought this out. So I would be, lemon squash, the colour. It's like a matte sort of yellowy, pastel-y moment.
Yeah.
I would be that with like powdered glitter. So it's not like chunks of glitter. It's like within me.
Cute.
I know. That would be my colour.
I don't have an answer as deep as that. I'll just go like blue.
Why? But you've got to say why. This is the whole thing.
Well, and the reason that I'd say blue is because
I would
my
say
gel
blue.
pen. You would or you wouldn't?
No.
Okay, but I've got a reason for being blue.
Go on then.
It just hasn't come to me yet.
Okay.
The reason for being blue is that gel pen and no, actually, I feel like blue is a colour associated with emotion quite a lot.
I get you.
With being maybe upset or sad or expressing emotion, and I feel like I'd choose blue because it would be my way of putting my emotion onto paper.
Understand. Wow. It's very, very nice.
Thank you. I just needed a second to think of it.
No, that's so
I just needed a
okay.
second, but
Yeah.
there it is.
At least you didn't just say blue.
Yeah, I had a reason behind it.
You had a reason.
Yeah, I want to just. I mean, we could stay on this for much longer, but I want to keep moving. For a bit of context around the central thing, all three of us in the room here, camerawoman Kaitlin, and the two of us have auditioned for Central.
Yeah.
We've both gone for the acting. Then the three within there.
Yeah.
Kaitlin went for. You didn't go for acting. You went for.
I would put
Date,
Yeah.
drama, applied theatre and education. I do know your course. These two got in. I didn't. However, this bounces off really well of what you said earlier about going into the auditions without like a top place.
Yeah.
Because I really wasn't sure. I'd started musical theatre 2 years ago. I really wasn't sure where my strengths were. I was like, well, I'm a good dancer. My singing's all right. And I felt fairly confident with acting through just doing my A-levels. I was like, hey, yeah, it's all right. So my application process, I think we've talked about this on one of our really old ones that no one's watched. So I can say it again.
Yeah, go on.
For my application, I was like, I'm just going to apply for like a range, just like a diverse range of places because I wasn't really sure. So I went for in my mind, acting musical theatre was where I had the best shots for Central. I went for the acting musical theatre at GSA.
Yeah.
I went for musical theatre at Laban, which I then pulled out of. I went for Lambda Pure Acting.
Yeah.
I went for Erdang, the dance musical theatre, but it's more jazz-based Erdang.
Yeah.
And then Bird, which I'd only found out about probably a couple months beforehand because Kaitlin said, oh, you should apply for this place. And Bird was dance musical theatre. Yeah. But has more of a contemporary feel to it rather than jazz.
What is the name of the course? Isn't it like dance?
Professional dance musical theatre.
Yeah.
And it's the same course title at Erdang as well. However, the Bird audition, we had like an Afrobeat contemporary fusion. Erdang was just like kick and jump and spin.
My friend
and
FaceTimed me afterwards and was like, this was the routine.
Yeah.
And she was like, I didn't feel good.
The Bird routines were so different. And so because I went for such a wide range, I was like, we'll just see which one takes me. I wasn't expecting... Also, bearing in mind, not many people get into drama school first try.
No.
Like, the fact that you guys are both first try, first years...
And you?
At Central, though. Because Central Central was like, don't take many people. That's the thing I always remind
Kaitlin. But it's still amazing.
Don't put yourself down.
Thank you. But because like it's quite difficult. I was like, I wasn't expecting to get super like loads of offers. And I think like my first 3 auditions were just like no. I think I got a GSA recall. That was like really exciting for me.
Yeah.
And then we did all of them in person, didn't we? Yeah. And so we were up in London for Central because I combined it the same week with Bird and some shows and the BYMT Christmas show.
Oh, nice.
We just did it all in the same week.
In December. You did it really early.
Yeah, we did.
Well, no, it's probably the right time to have done it. Mm-hmm. I think I applied around December. I sent my GSA self-tape off like the week, I think it was like Boxing Day, because I was like, so I was like ready to do it, and then I like lost my voice. I had like tonsillitis. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And then right on the last day, I was like, I need to do it, because I didn't want to ask for the extra time. You know, it's like you don't want to say like, I need an extra week. So I was like, oh, I'll just do it now. So I did it, and then the next day I was like going to Butlins for New Year. I was like, oh, let's just do it.
Yeah, no, we'd finished. Well, you only did 2 auditions in the end, but I'd finished all of them before Christmas. Before Christmas.
My friend said that as well, but I was just like, oh
which was
my
really
god.
nice.
Yeah.
But anyway, the story was basically I applied for so many places because I was like, I wasn't really sure, so I didn't really have a top because all of them were different for different reasons, and I couldn't compare them because they're all so different. So then the one offer I did get was on the day at Bird, which was like
on the day.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
And after having rejections, they said to me, "What would you say if we offered you a place now?" And I went, well, I've had so many rejections, and I just held myself composure. I was like, but that would be amazing. He was like, well, we want to give you a place. I was like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I actually think the first person I called was my uncle. I don't even think my parents got. I had a phone call with Uncle Daniel. Oh. Did you? Was it straight after?
Yeah.
Maybe the first adult then.
Yeah, so I was just 17.
Because he's the only person in my family, like mum's, dad's side, cousins, or like all of that. The only one who's like kind of in the industry. He teaches drama.
Nice.
Somewhere in Liverpool.
And he's an actor.
And he's going into acting again. I think he had a run doing teaching, and so I was like, he kind of understands.
Yeah.
Like my parents are like massive supporters.
Yeah, same.
But like he understands. So anyway, I don't know how, but I think I ended up kind of either voice noting or calling or kind of with him straight away. Linking this kind of to the central story, we auditioned on the same day, so because of the way the recalls work, we'd gone up together. Kaitlin got the recall, so then I was just sat in a Costa for hours.
This is like back to the original.
Yeah. I love going on tangents. I can't help it. That's fun.
Yeah, but it was with my mum, so like similar.
Yeah.
Like she was just like waiting around, and it not waiting around, like, and it was a stressful day. Like she said, the traffic was ridiculous in Bristol this day, and it was just like the most hectic day it could have been. But like she still stayed there because she's amazing. And I think it was just like, I don't know. I can't even remember now what it was, but just she's amazing. Yeah. But yeah, so it was a bit crazy the way it worked, because we had to then have 4 hours at the beginning. So I was like, what do I do? Make friends. And then you go in, do it, and it's like, whatever, you do your monologues, all of that. You come out and then they're like, you're all sat there, and they're like, go for lunch, come back. And we're all like, oh my gosh. And then they tell you, and you're like, oh my gosh. And then I remember, I don't even know why, I was in like sort of like a shock stage. I was shaking so much. And I can't remember, I just said to my mum, like, I think I messaged her. I don't think I phoned her. I just messaged her and went, oh gosh, fair jumper from my thing. I was like, Mum, I'm going to have to stay here later. Like, I've got a recall. And I remember she was like, oh my God, but I didn't even look at my phone. Anyway, so then when I was there, I found out that I didn't, before I found out I got a recall, I found out on email that I didn't get a recall for Mount Vale. They said they offered me a recall for the foundation year, but I didn't get it for. I think I had to resend tapes. They were like, so not a recall, but like we would like you to audition for the foundation year though.
Got you.
And I was like, oh, fun, but I'm not going to think about that right now.
Yeah.
So anyway, then when they said that I got a recall, I remember me and like there was two other girls. One of them got a recall, and we just walked down. We were like, oh, let's go somewhere, because we had no clue what to do. So we just ran, walked, and we're like, we better go back, and walked back, and we're just like processing.
Yeah.
None of us could believe it.
Yeah.
It was like we walked, we were like, oh my gosh. Everyone was like, and I remember they were saying like, because I was in disbelief. I actually didn't think that was real. And I was like, how did that happen? They were like, because you did well.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
What? No, like what? Because I don't ever think about it like that. Like I don't like thinking I did well, I didn't do well. Like, and sometimes reflection. We talk about this a lot on CDT. Is like sometimes reflection isn't. If it's got to be good reflection. Do you know what I mean? Like if you look back and you're like annoyed that you didn't do something, or you get all angry and worried about it. Well, then that's a different thing to positively reflecting, where I could do this better next time, but I did well. Do you know what I mean?
No, I do. It's just it's making me reflect now on myself in the way that I view things. Yeah. I'm not always the most positive reflector. But
I'm the same, and this is why it was good in that sense of just like, you think, oh, but I did this wrong, No, bottom line is, it went well.
Yeah.
It happened. Stop reflecting now. There's only so much you can reflect upon.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Kaitlin kind of acts as like my positive reflector and will remind me.
My mum is like that for me.
Yeah. Reminds me that, you know, like you've done this well and how difficult like it's been to kind of do certain things, and I'm always like, but you can't have a but. Like, why is there but in there? We're talking positive things.
And it's happened.
Yeah.
This is what I've really like thought about recently is it's happened. Like there's actually nothing I can do. Like yesterday we were doing like a game, an improv game, and you have to like point to someone and then you have to be like, my name's Sophie, and then like walk with it, and this is called like your will center, which is your legs, and you have to like do something with your will center. And I would come back and I said to my friend, like, was that okay? Thought, why did I say that? Like just like naturally just like, oh, was that all right? It doesn't matter if it was all right.
I notice that so often with performers. They'll be like, and I do the same.
Yeah. But one thing I do, hang on, let me think of the words.
Yeah, of course.
One like aspect of theatre that I love is improv. I absolutely live for improv. It's my favourite thing, because I actually don't overthink it. You cannot, and I'm a worrier. Like I worry about everything. I overthink everything. But improv, I don't. And like yesterday after we did that game, like it was really weird because that game was basically improv, but it was more focused. We're in a scene, an improv scene. You're in it, and that's what's important.
Yeah.
So, and the other day, actually, I went to see this. I've been following this improv group for so long.
Are they
They're
called?
called Shoot from the Hip.
I'll have a look at them.
Oh my gosh, I've been following them for so long, and
I might actually. I follow several online, so I might
maybe they
already
yeah.
check.
And I went to this we went to do this pub quiz on the Sunday, and I was like, oh my gosh, they were literally doing a show downstairs, and all my friends that were there, they weren't like drama people, they were my friends from halls, so they like didn't get that, and I was like almost crying. I was like, oh my god, what do I do? So
no, I love these guys. Okay, these guys are amazing.
Funny.
Yeah.
And they are
these guys are amazing.
good. So I managed to watch their show the other day, and then I was like, literally like, oh my god, this is a dream come true. So then afterwards I spoke to them and I told them what I do, because I was like, do it then, and they were like, what's your name? I was like, Sophie, and I was just like,
networking
oh my god,
is cool, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's sick.
And like it was so crazy, and I bought a little badge and it's on my bag and it's like Shoot from the Hip, and they were amazing though. And when we got in there, right, they were like, right, so we're gonna start this off. They were like, what's your favourite animals? And they were like, and you have to shout out your favourite animal, right? And then they went, what's your favourite animal? And pointed at me, and I was like, giraffe. And they said, this is going to be fun. Everyone make a giraffe sound. And everyone was like,
that's so cool.
But they are so good.
So, story with these guys.
Okay.
Our entire drama B-Tech, we played a game called Change.
Change,
That's from them. That's because I saw their things online. I was like, I love these kind of improv games they're playing. And so as our warm-ups, we'd always play different, or like Rewind, or like all sorts. We'd always play so many different games as warm-ups that like I found from watching or being recommended their clips. Yeah. And then I brought them into drama. And like for the whole 2 years, we very frequently came back to Rewind or Change, add our own variations onto it. And it was from the clips I've seen of them.
It's so good. It really keeps you on your feet.
Yeah.
But live, they were just so good.
That'd be cool to get them on the podcast.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Well, you've got connections, so maybe, who knows?
But oh no, they were so nice as well and just genuine. And I told them, because I don't know, when I meet people I just want to say everything to them.
Yeah.
And I remember I told them, I was like, look, I said, I love improv. And they were like, oh cool. And they didn't ask why, but I told them why anyway. And I was like, I said I love it because everybody now seems to think about everything. Everything's thought through. Everything is just like, you're just obsessed with the thought process of things, when sometimes it doesn't have to be that way. And this is why in improv, it isn't that way. And I love it. You don't have to think, you just do. Like, I've been in situations where it's improv and it doesn't make any sense. But that's the best sort of improv. Do you know what I mean? When it actually means nothing.
I'm starting to get more comfortable with it. I like it when I have, like, where it's not just, like, go up on stage and it's like you get given some sort of stimulus or you get given something. Yeah. And I've started in because we do... I don't know the right amount of acting it, but it's pretty much a dance course. But we've done some improv in some of the lessons, and I've actually surprised myself, and I've come away from it being like, wow, that was sick.
Yeah.
Like,
you
that
really
was awesome.
And you feel, because there's like 2 times that I actually feel quite relaxed and calm. One is in a guided meditation, and I can only ever do it if it's guided live. I can't do it online, like. So coming to Central, we do loads of yoga, and we do loads of like loads of guided meditations, and it's just like feel that energy coming up through your legs and into your like center, your feeling center, and it's very like visualizing, and I love that because you're just thinking just about that. So it's like your mind, and if your mind wanders, they're very like accept. They say like if your mind wanders, that's so okay. Just slowly bring it back to, and it's so accepting, like with in regards to that, because sometimes it's just like do this, do this, do this. Where this is like no, acknowledge if your mind wanders and just see what happens. And the other time I feel quite calm and nice is after I've just done an improv. It's like I'm like this. I'm like rearing to go.
Yeah.
And I'm actually so like I'm like. Oh my God, like, I don't know how to explain it.
No, because I do understand.
It's like that relaxed, totally. You've just said things and it's out there and it's done.
And afterwards you feel like really ready to...
Yeah.
Like, we'd do it as our warm-up because afterwards it'd make our group be like, right, let's get
on with it
let's
then.
Get
like,
cracking.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think about it as like working that way. I thought about it as it's just fun to play and it's funny. But it probably helped us in terms of our productivity. In a group that got distracted quite easily, I think is quite fair to say. But it meant that we really cracked on, and it works so well.
I love improv. Yeah. I would love to do an improv show, like the show from the head. I would love it. Like that is putting the audience on their feet as well, like making them feel ready. Oh, I don't know.
I'd love to go watch some improv shows. Yeah. I think that would be. Yeah, I mean, if you ever do one, send an invite because I think they're just great. I need to watch more shows just in general. Now I'm in London. I mean, they're all around, so we've got to go.
I find I haven't got time. I watched when I got here. I was like, I need to see something, to sort of like not remind yourself why you're here, but reconnect with the city. So I went to see Guys and Dolls.
Cool, haven't seen it yet. But...
It was amazing. We stood as well, and they like move you around. It's really immersive, and it worked so well. And the main actor was Welsh. So at the end, I said to my friend, we're not leaving until I speak to him because I need to tell him I speak Welsh as well and I'm doing acting at Central. So I was like, and I spoke to him at the end and then he just spoke Welsh to me. He was like, oh, so ti'n siarad Cymraeg? I was like, yeah. You asked me if I spoke Welsh, that's what that's it.
Yeah.
But he was, but he's from North Wales, so it was sort of hard to understand him. But I was like, trying to keep up because I wanted him to know. Anyway, that was amazing. But ever since, like, it's hard to find the energy. Do you know what I mean? Because it is hard work.
Yeah, I've been invited to some shows and I have just gone, I can't
I need
tonight.
The time.
I've gone to see 2 since I've been here. Bearing in mind I've been here for 2 months.
Yeah, what have you seen?
I've seen Moulin Rouge. Also, weirdly, I haven't seen many shows. Like, I haven't been doing this for long enough. Yet for some reason, I've watched Moulin Rouge twice now and Matilda twice now. Like, when we came up for the audition of the shows that we watched... No, when was it? When we came up for Caitlin's birthday, the shows we watched were in one day. We watched Moulin Rouge and we watched Matilda. We managed to get Matilda were the student tickets for £10. Yeah. Moulin Rouge was what was it? Your present, my.
Yes. It was my birthday present, but we went on Valentine's Day.
Oh.
I don't do dates. And remembering dates, that is. Or really, anyway, it doesn't matter. And what's been really strange is I've been here for 2 months and I've just rewatched those exact shows without meaning to. They've just happened to be ones that people were wanting to go watch, like Matilda. Moulin Rouge, we ended up getting free tickets from a family member, which was just sad story. Someone passed away, but they had really nice tickets.
Okay.
But they passed away. And I haven't watched anything else yet. And I was like, there's so much. I want to watch Cabaret.
Yeah, I really, really want to see Cabaret.
Yeah, I've been recommended it like so many times.
Oh my gosh, it looks amazing.
And what was the one that? I mean, I don't know if I will. I probably will watch it. The one that Nicole.
Sunset Boulevard.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know really anything about it, but everyone's talking about it.
It looks really like dark and good.
It's really good.
Lots of group trips to go.
Yeah, I definitely want to watch a lot more.
Yeah.
But it's just so tiring being here.
I know, it is.
It's exhausting.
Even the London life just takes it out of you.
Yeah. And your courses must be so different because how long have you been here for? When did you start?
I started on the 2nd of October, but we start
at the same time, but your courses are more similar
time-wise.
Yeah, but we actually had a first full week this week. Last week and the week before was induction.
See, Bert didn't do induction.
Oh.
I got here on a Sunday, like just after lunchtime, kind of unloaded everything, did your first day classics.
Yeah.
And then Monday morning, 8:30, I had
Oh
class.
my gosh.
And then it hasn't stopped since then.
Yeah.
That week on Friday, no, 2 weeks later on the Friday, our freshers we finished at lunchtime and had a barbecue.
Oh.
And that was the freshers event.
That's so lovely.
But I've heard about your freshers events.
They were so good. They were one of the best freshers I've seen. Like,
I'm very jealous.
honestly.
I've been invited, again, because I'm so tired, I've been invited to quite a few of them and just been like, sorry, I can't. I don't have the energy.
Yeah.
I would love to.
It was hard to
don't have it in me.
persevere throughout that. Like, because the first week was good because it was a week before we started. But then when I got into induction, it was like, I can't go to this. I can't go to this.
Yeah.
The one thing I wanted to go to and I did go to was the queer cabaret. That was insane. And
You went to that as well, didn't you?
That was amazing, and people were reading poetry, and it was just, I was like really emotional. It was so good. I was crying my eyes out. Wow. I didn't even, it was amazing. The people are so talented. Because the freshers events were very specialised to Central.
We did West End tour.
Yeah. And it was nice as well getting that to share, and the Phoenix Arts thing. Yeah. I really wanted to go there, but I couldn't. I was so ill. But I was watching videos, and it was just so nice seeing people. Like, I would have wanted to go, not even to perform, just to watch everyone. So I love that. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, yeah.
So Kaitlin mentioned that our courses are quite similar.
Yeah.
Because I know that her course, first term, isn't as full on in terms of like you're in person, but you are required to like make up in your own time type thing.
I'm in 3 days a week properly.
Yes. Whereas for my course, I'm in Monday to Friday. Some days I'm finishing at 7. Most days I'm starting 8:30. Like it's
a lot, yeah.
It's a lot. What's yours like?
What's interesting is with CDT, it's sort of like they say it's like the upper moving course. So they try new things and they do new things because it's still quite like recent. I think it's less than 15 years old.
Okay.
I don't know, but it's really, really new. So we are like trying new things. So this year they've placed that we are going to start at 10. We're going to be there for 9 to start warming up. Yeah. But we start at 10 and finish at 6. So it's like, they've said that that's like really beneficial, and we've all agreed with it because we think it's really good. And like they say that they think that's gonna become a common thing now because it's too intense sometimes. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And like, well, that's the thing. It is. So we do that, and then sometimes we have singing tutorials until like 7 on a Tuesday. But like it just depends. But then Wednesday morning we have like a study time, but singing tutorials happen then as well, or voice tutorials. So on Wednesday I did a voice tutorial at 9:45, finished at 10:15, and then just did work, and then went back in at 2 till 6. So it's quite structured. I like the structure though. A lot of my friends in like other unis say like LSE or something, they're like, I have a 2-hour lecture today, 4 till 6, and I'm like, what do you do? Like, I couldn't. I like being in the full-time intensity of it. Do you know what I mean?
So yeah, ours is full on. We do have weird like days where we've got like an 8:30 and then like a long break and then like another class and then a long break and then like a 4-hour workshop. And so some days are like weirdly scattered.
Yeah.
But never long enough for people who live in the student accommodation, which is about 40 minutes away, is never long enough for them to actually go home. And so then they've got like an hour and a half or 2 hours where they're just kind of still in college doing bits and bobs.
It's good though because it gives you a chance to do stuff.
Yes.
It actually is the motivation to do the work and, you know.
But some days are just like straight through. Like, I think our Tuesday we have like 3 dance classes. We have 50 minutes in between each class, like a crossover time. So we have like 3 dance classes and then like a 2-hour acting thing and then a voice thing. Each has 15 minutes through. Usually we'd have a half-hour lunch. The way the timetable works on a Tuesday, we don't. And so it's just like class. Class. And
whenever you can fit it in.
Yeah, it's just whenever you can. And then some days are weird, but then some days are like really long. And so the timetable is very strange, but it's good because it is all very set.
And it keeps you on your feet.
Keeps you moving. And it does give you your breaks here and there.
Yeah.
On certain days where you need it to do.
Because sometimes it's just too long of a break. Do you know what I mean? And it's a bit like, because like our lunch is an hour, and we all thought that was going to be crazy because like it was a bit too long. It's like whatever, but like no, it's actually like perfect. It's the way the days are set out is like really perfect, and I like that it's consistent. Obviously, room changes, obviously things like that. Yeah. But like it is consistent. You've got to be there before 10 to warm up everything.
Yeah.
And then you leave around 6, and that's how it is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I haven't even looked at the questions since we've...
I know.
I just haven't on to there. Cool, there's a bunch down here. To be honest, we've actually covered, like, probably quite
a few in the conversation.
Quite a few. I'd be interested to know, like, what you'd want to do post. You mentioned that you'd still want to do musical theatre.
Yeah.
Being how much of the course that you do now do you think will benefit you to do musical theatre afterwards?
Well, this is the thing. I'm approaching it as, like, the openness.
Yeah.
Because, like, it seems to be that not many people know a lot about CDT. And a lot of people said it's, like, one of the best courses to be on because it's so new and so different, and so, like, they reach into loads of different types of theatre and different types of thing. So I think it's going to make, like, they say you're going to be you're made into a well-rounded, like, actor. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like you can go into a lot of things. There's people on there that, like, want to do directing. There's people, like, it's not just, like, acting or musical theatre. So I think where I'm going to, like, I think I'm just going to take what I can from it and just develop as a person and as an actress, and then hope then that'll take me into it. Because I don't think I have a plan. I want to do a lot of things. I want to be in musical theatre. I would love to do a play. I'd love to devise. I'd love to write my own show. I love poetry, and I'd love to put that on as well. Yeah. I just want to do a bit of everything. So I think it's just a matter of taking what I can from what I'm learning and just applying that to myself, but just gradually. It's not like I've learnt this today, that's all right. Yeah. It's I've learnt this today, I'm going to see where I can take it. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? And there's things, they always say this, there's things you're going to take and you're going to leave. You're not going to want to use that sort of technique. So we're taught a lot of different things and you're just grabbing what you want from those different things. Yeah. So I think really it's like I'm not narrowed down to, and I'm not saying this is the case for anyway, I'm just saying personally in my brain, I don't feel like I can only do one thing. Mm-hmm. I already, even in the first week, feel there's so much I can do.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah, and it's a good feeling. It's that feeling of like, I could actually do this. Do you know what I mean?
And I think having the option also, like going into the industry we're in, you need to be quite well versed.
Yeah.
Be able to have a lot of different things that you could do. Because if one door closes, then you've still got all of these other ones that you could...
And they train, they say that they teach you as well. So like in second term and that, we're going to learn how to be in the work without being in direct theatre work. So like how to keep it up, how to, assistant direct, how to know how to be into the industry without being in that work. Because obviously that's a struggle for anyone in this industry.
It definitely sounds like you're being equipped with the skills to survive.
Yeah.
Because it kind of does seem like a survival game.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it.
Auditions felt like a survival game. This is a whole other ballpark.
Yes.
But in the same way.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to go on to BYMT and NYMT because we both had experience doing that. I need to keep in mind, like, I'm very good at waffling, and it's really I need to.
The same.
You're at 37.
We're doing pretty well.
Wow.
Just kind of keep it rolling.
Yeah.
So you've done BYMT.
Yeah.
And you've done NYMT.
I did BYMT twice and then NYMT.
Yeah. So I've done BY once, and I did an NY concert. Their first round of doing in concert.
Yeah.
And then I did an actual show, and I think we've both done new musicals with NYMT, haven't we?
Yeah.
Because A Kiss for Cinderella was new.
Yeah.
And then I did The Voice of the Ocean in the Armchair, which was also new. So we probably got quite a lot of similar experience in that sense.
Yeah.
I'd
like
love
it's
to
still
know.
creating.
Yeah, and BYMT is always new. It feels like every year it's a new musical.
Yeah, it's a new musical, but I did Goblin Market with BYMT, and they'd already put that on before.
I see.
So they sort of were coming back to it, but they come back with it with a completely different slant, which was really interesting and different.
Which one, I mean, this is quite a big question to go into, but which one did you prefer in terms of maybe just your personal experience on the course? Okay,
so I think BYMT is really good to start out with doing it. Yeah. I think you learn so much from it. You make friends for life. And it really is an amazing experience. I think NYMT is more on the, not to say BYMT is not professional, but it did feel a lot more like sort of, I don't know, like, I don't want to say it was more professional because I think they were both just as good as each other. You couldn't compare because they are so different. Although they're offering like, you do this show, it just felt a bit more, professional is not the word I'm looking for.
I do understand what you mean because I feel the same way. BY has a lot more to offer, so it can take on a lot more people.
Yeah.
whereas NY feels like this kind of like this exclusive kind of.
It felt quite direct.
Yeah.
And then BYMT was quite like open.
Yes.
And like I didn't not prefer one to the other. I think I loved them both because they were such different experiences. But I feel like NYMT was very like this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing. Where BYMT, even though we did it, because like we said, we both did new shows for them. So even though like A Kiss for Cinderella was a new show, and also I did The Accidental Time Traveller with BYMT, that was a new show. But they both felt like I don't know, they were both different new show experiences. Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
I hope it's coming across. It's hard to.
I'm trying to think of the way that of the words that you're.
The way I think about it is like NYMT was very like, and then BYMT was very like.
That's yes. For audio listeners, how would we describe? So like
train track, like straight on,
straight for
and
NY.
then the field. Openness
for BY, because BY do like 9 shows. Like, they do quite a few, so it can take more people. And I think they just do first one audition. We did the one in Cardiff.
Yeah, and that's all.
And that was it.
Yeah.
NYMT was like I sent off a self-tape, then got a recall in person.
Yeah.
I think I got recall for 2 of the shows. So you do 2 separate auditions.
Yeah.
And then they tell you which one they'd like you to have. I think I was quite lucky with the NYMT one because the 2 shows that were like already set musicals, Kiss Me Kate and Merrily We Roll Along. Like Merrily, you've got to Kiss Me Kate, like you've got to be really good at dance and tap, and obviously a good actor. Merrily isn't really a dance show, so it was very much like. And so I'm there like, I have got no chance.
Yeah, which ones did you get recalled for?
I got Merrily.
Okay.
Which was so weird, and then Armchair.
Yeah.
I was expecting Kiss Me Kate because it was more dancey.
Yeah.
And so I do the recall for Merrily first, and I'm like, oh no, second. I can't remember.
Yeah.
The one for Merrily, I was like, this is like I'm surrounded by people at drama school.
Yeah.
I wasn't at drama school at that point. I was still doing A-levels, and so I was very much like out of my depth because everyone there was so older. I think is also a difference. BY feels like it generally has a younger.
I was gonna say this. I think like maybe like I said, starting out BYMT was really good. When you're younger, it's like BYMT was better. It was like you meet loads of people. When you want to learn more about it, then NYMT is maybe the better place because it was more direct. Like I said.
Yes. No.
So anyway, go on.
I definitely agree with that. And so what I'd been saying, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Merrily, I was just surrounded by all these like very talented actors. You know, they'd all been training. They all knew what they were doing. Like everyone in the audition room, like they knew they were there for a reason. Like they all had a purpose. And then I'm there like,
this was me. Yeah.
I've done drama A-level.
Yeah.
But that's about it, guys. So I think maybe the fact, like, I think maybe I got affected by the atmosphere. And it just made me shrink slightly. Yeah. I definitely shrunk.
This very similarly, in April, you know, you do like that week in April for NYMT. I felt a lot like that, and I've never felt like that before. Like when I went to do BYMT, I just attacked it with who I am. And
same.
This is me,
totally.
this is me.
Yeah.
And then I think there was just something about that atmosphere.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like they created that. It was just, I think in my mind, I created this like, it's that extra level, it's that step up. When really it wasn't. So when I went back in the summer, so I obviously like shrunk a little bit in the Easter. When I went back in the summer, I thought, I'm just going to like attack it with me again and see how that works. And it was so much better. So moral of this, always be true to yourself.
Yes, and just attack
know
everything.
Your place.
You know, really go for everything. I think then I got quite lucky because then Armchair was the completely different vibe. Armchair was all about the movement, and that was something I was comfortable with. And we had a frantic assembly practitioner and whatever who has loads of experience to do the choreography. And so I was like, well, this is my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And so because I was comfortable, apart from the singing, my legs went all jelly. They still do when I sing. But the bits where we're doing all the movement, I was like, bam, right in there. I'm just going to attack it, really throw myself. And
there's always something for everyone though, like NYMT or BYMT, there was something for everyone. So when we did so you find something you love about it. So like when we did Goblin Market, it was a very different experience. We did it and they sort of changed. So you know Goblin Market, the poem by Christina Rossetti, It's all right, don't worry. I didn't when I did it. I studied it in A-level English, but as part of poetry. But it's basically about goblins luring women with their like luscious fruits. And it's like, follow us. And then Lizzie and Laura are the sisters, and they go through this whole like journey with them. And then they end like they fight for each other, and it's that sisterly bond that keeps them sort of together.
Oh, nice.
But they took sort of. He said it was like a Amish twist. So we were all like Amish ladies, and we would all sit on the stage, or Amish people, and we were all sat on the stage at the back the whole time. And there was a coffin. It was very dark. And I think I'd never done anything like that before. And I think it was okay that I didn't really click with that. But what I did find that I loved in it was the music. The music was so beautiful. I've never I
agree.
I love although I don't understand like the sheet music, and I can't read sheet music, and I don't, but you have that feeling in music. Like that's what I love about it. This is why I'm so happy I come from Wales, like because it's so music orientated.
Yeah.
I love a good score. I love a good thing. So that's what I connected with within that. And then with NYMT, what I found I loved was we incorporated, because it was a new musical. You have your ideas in there as well. So we incorporated. I was a storyteller, and I got to say a lot of my lines in Welsh.
Oh,
and there would be
brilliant.
other people who would say it in French, and then in their own native language. And I thought that was so beautiful. And you just feel so proud being able to like share that. Do you know what I mean?
It's really nice. I think off of the thing you were saying about music, I've only just started to become more of a music, what would the word be? Orientated, yeah, or just understanding, just, like
being more attentive to it, and listening to it more. Yeah.
But what I found from my experience doing the BYMT show was the music really hit me. It was
this was
whoa. And listening back to some of the old videos, and when we were on stage singing, I don't know why, there's something about it just made me really emotional. It was just damn, this sounds great.
It's unifying, is that the word? It really brings you together, and you don't.
It does.
I think Goblin Market was where it changed my perspective on music, and I did music GCSE, but that was really hard. And it was it was so hard. You had to compose and all that, and I was like, oh, I don't know. But when you're in it and you're feeling and performing, and the music is happening, that atmosphere is something you won't get back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the moral of it. It doesn't matter where you go or what you do. It's the same with drama school and university. It doesn't matter. You are going to find what you love within it, and that is where the love for it comes from. It doesn't matter where, and you have a feeling, and it's always best to follow that feeling and the instinct.
Yeah.
So that was quite universal there, but you know what I mean. So that question of which is better, because I've been asked it before. I remember when I did my audition for my recall for NYMT, there was somebody there who was in the orchestra for BYMT. And that was one of the first things they said to me was oh, which one then do you think is? I was like, well, they're both, I love what they're doing, so I love them both. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're both really good companies, and I think everyone should just, if you're interested in musical theatre, literally just give them a try. The reason I applied, it was the first year I started, and we saw an advert from on Facebook. I just had a rejection from the National Youth Dance Company, which, that was a very big thing for me. And I was like, but I want to try something on that scale. And we just saw a thing on Facebook, BYMT, NYMT. I was like, all right, why not?
Yeah.
We just went for it. I was thinking, I really want to start asking questions that are maybe a little bit deep. I love saying things just the general kind of about you and whatnot. But this one, when we were talking last night, I was like, it just feels a little bit more, there's a lot behind it we can go into. And it was, how does the trajectory of the industry at the moment make you feel about your future?
Okay.
Big question.
Because there's lots happening.
There's a lot going on.
And there's lots of different ways it could go. Yeah. So how does it make you feel about your future?
Well, I think I always have this thing of I'm just going to trust the process.
Yes,
see
that's
what
really
happens.
good. That is really good.
And I think, in a way, it's good to just, you got to acknowledge everything that's going on, and you've got to acknowledge, because you've got to persevere. It's similarly, I was on about this earlier on, with, when applying for drama school, I knew subconsciously if I didn't get in, I would have had to make a plan. But I didn't want to. Yeah. I didn't want to accept that could maybe be a possibility. I wanted to get through all my auditions first, and see where that got me, and then decide afterwards. So it's one of those things, it's I want to get through this now, get through these years, and embrace what's happening. And then when it comes to it, I will just, and when I see how the industry is then, that's when I'll decide. I think it's like, because it's so ever changing, you know, you don't know what's gonna happen. So I think there's so much to be said. There's so many ways it could be attacked. Like, I think it's changing. I think in regards to what's being portrayed and the sort of stuff that's being put on stage, if we go that slant of it, I think it's a lot more diverse now. There's so much being put on. Kaitlin, you said you went to see Little Big Things, and it was the cast was so diverse, and what they were talking about was amazing. And I remember seeing one of the questions you said, what play really inspires you, or like what spoke to you recently. And I went to see. Sorry, another tangent, but it's
fine. No, honestly.
I went to see Romeo and Julie in Cardiff with like my English class, and Callum Scott Howells was in it. And I love Cam Scott. He's so amazing. He's from Wales. And he was in It's a Sin. Have you seen It's a Sin?
I've heard.
Yeah, there's a Welsh character in It's a Sin, and he plays that. So that's where I first knew him from. We went to see this, and it was portraying real and raw Welsh like characters. One was a single dad, and one aspired to go to Oxford or Cambridge, and she was like trying really hard in school, and then they like fall in love, and it's like the parents, and it was just real. The story was real. It wasn't like like characters. They were real people. So I think if you think in regards to the way that like industry is changing and in diversity and in what they are portraying, I think it's going to be beautiful in the years to come, because it's not just going to be your classic same old and doing things differently as well. Like you said, you saw Othello Frantic Assembly, like that is so cool. I'm seeing Othello today, like I said, and I think they've done it a bit differently. I can't remember. I'm just going to see. Shakespeare's like that though. I have no expectation ever for Shakespeare.
You can't.
I saw Richard III in the Royal Shakespeare Company. Is that what it's called in wherever? That was really good. It was just like straight Richard III. Like there was nothing really that different, but it was just amazing, and I just had no expectation. I just saw it. But anyway, that's the thing. It's like, I don't know. That's a very interesting question.
Yeah, I mean, there's kind of tons that could be kind of thought behind it. I mean, if you maybe go into like the way the government have been recently, like, and the Arts Council is funding, like, it's all quite,
this is, sorry,
so many different ways.
Jumping in there, but in regards to like, I think theatre, the community that is created from any sort of theatre is so united that there's no way that it could ever be like destroyed. And like the passion people feel, and when you really love it, you wouldn't let it go. So I think there's always, although the struggles that are going to face it, and there's for years, like, do you know what I mean? Theatre's always struggled. But I think, and through COVID and everything, like ridiculously it struggled. But I think, look, it's been built back up. You know, there's always, and theatre, I think, even the most cynical person ever, you take them to see a show, and even if they don't want to admit it, that has changed their life. Yeah, it's like, well, you know, it doesn't matter what show it is. Like,
we took some of the lads in our old drama group to watch Six, the musical, and we were on the bus and we were like, we're gonna hate this. They were like, this is gonna be awful. They were very much, and then they came up being like, wow. Now I don't know which reason it was they were saying wow for, but but like they loved it, and afterwards they were talking about it for ages. And it was really nice because like beforehand they were like, why are we coming? They were so like moody about it.
I've been the same. No, because my I remember me and my like family went to, well, one instance was I really wanted to see Hamilton, and Hamilton's a difficult one to.
I want to.
So good. In 2019, actually, crazy year.
Yeah,
when Let It Snow. I went to see Hamilton, and it was like a little treat or whatever. And my mum, me, my Bamp, and my nan went. Bamp being nanny is grandmother and grandfather. Okay. So my nan and my Bamp and my mum, we all went. None of them got it, but they all felt like it did impact them, and they couldn't express it. Because the thing is, like, I think people in theatre are so expressive, and like, well, I'm not a very good example because I can never get my words out. But like in my way, like in like sounds, and you know, like what we were talking about earlier, like or whatever, like that's expressive in my way. But like even the people who aren't in the theatre world, you still have that feeling. Even if you can't express it, you still have that feeling. If the actors are doing a good enough job at portraying the emotion behind what they're saying, I think anyone can feel it. Yeah. And this is what I want to do. And this is the moral of what I want to do. It doesn't matter what I go in. I'd love to do a show theatre. I'd love to do musical theatre or less. But what I want to do is it sounds so whatever, but make people feel and make people understand and like, the feeling I love.
Yeah.
That's what I love about theatre, is that you can feel in so many different ways.
I think you've got a very good mindset and approach onto, I know I definitely do, onto where you're wanting to go and the way you think about things. Still onto that question, I'm going to give another spin onto it. In terms of, you mentioned about COVID, got me thinking about how everything went online.
Yeah.
Going forwards with theatre, I've got a lot of different opinions of what I think about this, but bringing more accessibility to the online side of things, and maybe even the marketing and the promotion, and being able to bring a show not just to the 1,000 or whatever audience that are in person, but to the millions of people that use the internet.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing like loads of it, but I'm starting to see a lot more in terms of like being able to like connect with a show through the internet.
Yeah, we were talking about this actually in school. I always call it school, and everyone's like uni. No, school, right? We were talking about this the other day about how do we feel about film performances, because like obviously we're gonna need to watch loads of stuff. So it's like, how do we feel about it? And we were all talking, and I need to see something live. Like, well, I've never I watched Prima Facie on National Theatre at home. Oh my gosh, I felt through it.
Wow.
And that's I was watching it obviously on my phone, and like I felt that I was bawling my eyes out. It's like if the film, a sad film, communicates that emotion well, you feel it no matter what. Mm-hmm. I think there is something about the live element of it.
Oh, 100%.
And you can
100%.
never get that. However, I think it's all in the way it's done, and even the way it's filmed sometimes. Because like Prima Facie, it wasn't just like her. It was like her, like it was like close to her, and it would go back and it would show like the ceiling and come down, and it was very like cinematographical or whatever.
Yes, cinematic.
Yes, I made it harder for myself.
You definitely did, yeah.
But yeah, it was very cinematic. So I think and in regards to promoting and marketing it, I think it's really good because loads more people are now being interested in it, and that's always a benefit for theatres and that. Do you know what I mean?
I'm loving Disney Plus at the moment.
Yeah.
Newsies, Hamilton.
Yeah.
I can't see these shows in person.
Waitress is coming out as well.
Is it?
I think Sarah Bareilles, is how you say her name. I think if I saw it correctly, that's been filmed and it's coming out.
For someone from rural Devon, like not anywhere near London, and from Wales, like being able to, I've only ever watched Newsies and Hamilton on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And they are some of my favourite shows. Yeah. By far. And when I first started theatre, it was great because I could see these just incredible productions, and I was just like, wow.
Yeah, the accessibility is amazing. Yeah. And like a lot of the times as well, like Disney Plus and that, you do have to pay, but like it's worth it. Because my teacher, I remember, she got National Theatre at home, and it was funny because at that time I was going to get it as well, because I thought I just want to watch things, and I use it all the time now. I watch like loads of different plays, just even if I'm not interested, I'm like, I just want to see what it's about. Because for my drama A level, I did Yerma with a friend, which is a play about, it's kind of crazy, it's about this woman and she's struggling with like her perception of the world and like pregnancy, and her sister like can get pregnant all the time, but she seems to can't get pregnant. And I remember I was like, the only way I can do it is if I watch it. I was like, oh yay, it's on National Theatre at home.
That's brilliant.
So I watched it, and that was crazy. But like one thing that like sort of separated me was because the way the stage was, because the staging was like 2 glass panes. It was in, I know the Welsh word, traws, like traverse, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
So it was like catwalk sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it was a catwalk style stage, and there was glass, and everything was happening inside. However, because of the way it was filmed, it was like awkward because it would go inside the glass or it would be outside, and
I see.
It was a bit of an awkward one, but like
work in progress. I think.
Yeah.
The next couple of years.
I'm glad it was there because I watched it, and it was one of the best things I've seen. Mm-hmm. But I think that accessibility upon that is so good for people.
Yeah. No. Totally. I like kind of the course that you're doing, because that really feels like it will explore lots of different things.
And how to develop that accessibility.
Yeah.
And
I think with something like the podcast that we're doing here, this could so lead into, there's so many different ways that it could go. Yeah. Even just like as a podcast itself, bringing actors to an audience in a really kind of chill way, I think would be great.
And introducing, I think what's really important, and this is why I love that you're doing a podcast and all that, is introducing the people behind who are actually doing these shows and that. Like you said, like hopefully you would be able to get West End performers and stuff on, and that would be amazing because you actually get to see them. Because this is what I really like, and this is my like sort of moral for going into this bit like business and theatre, is I'm always going to be myself. I'm always going to stick to my roots. I think like there's this whole stereotype you have to be this certain type of actor where like you don't. I've never been that certain type of actor. I've never been the what you would expect to be in a show or wherever. Do you know what I mean? And I think that in a way challenges me because it's like, oh, like let's see it. It pushes me further. It empowers me.
And you've done well so far.
Well, here we are.
Yeah.
But so it's that sort of moral of like still be you. And I think so doing this podcast and through and even like social media, it's so good to just see like I follow Cabaret, what's her name? I think her name's Emily something. She's the alternate Sandra. Sandra. Yeah. Do you know how I say Sandra, right? Funny story. Yesterday, my friend wrote Sandra on my hand. Nothing to do with anything. Yeah. I don't know a Sandra in my life. Sandra has come up so much in the past day. Like, you wouldn't believe.
I don't think I know a Sandra.
I know Sandra.
I definitely don't.
Our friend Annie at home will find that really funny.
Why?
Just because of the person we know called Sandra.
Right, because I
It is mental. Sandra's come up so much. My friend was like, my nan's called Sandra. I said, what? And then somebody called me Sandra. I was like, that's not my name.
That is so strange.
It was really weird. But anyway, Sandra, Sally Bowles. It's not even similar.
Drama school's such a strange place. Like, the weirdest things will happen.
So
anyway.
It's the alternate Sally Bowles. And I followed them on Instagram and I'm just like updating all the time. Like, they're like, oh, I'm on it this time. And I'm like, oh, I wish I could go. And they post videos. And they were the one who did the West End Live, the Sally Bowles, in 2021, I want to say, or 2022. But they were the one who performed it. And it was so good. Like, and I've never, like, that made me fall in love with Cabaret, was her performance of Sally Bowles' character. So anyway, but social media, the moral is what I'm saying, is social media is really good to follow these actors. And like now, a lot of the actors are more like unique person, and like they are their own people, and they just like that they are themselves. I think that's empowering.
It's going in a good direction, and I think being able to follow and see what they're doing is really nice. But doing a podcast, like, you'll get an even closer connection. So any West End performers watching this,
if you want to come on,
send a little message. We've probably already messaged you, to be fair, so just respond to the one we've already sent. There will be links in descriptions. We'll probably have yours. I've never actually put the guests. Maybe I should go back and do that. But yeah, I mean, follow us on Instagram, subscribe, like. We don't say this enough. It's always at the end of the episode when it's been like an hour that I always kind of mention these things. Is there anything else that needs to be covered? I mean,
It'd be nice to talk a bit about your Welsh heritage and the way you put that in theatre.
Yeah,
That's really interesting. But then,
Thank you.
Other than that,
yeah, because it's half one.
That's okay. Well, in regards to my Welshness, I'm very proud of being Welsh so much. I really want to keep the language going, and while I was in Wales, I worked with something called McCann. I volunteered for them for years. They asked me to sing in events, and that's how I got my job then, working in an after school club, was through them. And I just like, they really like give me a chance to showcase my singing, and then also in Welsh. So it's not only, and also like I do school Eisteddfods and the National Eisteddfod, which is like a Welsh like competition where you get to sing and you can do monologues, anything, like just a bit of whatever. So I think in Wales the sort of performance culture is very, very like heavy, and I've always had that opportunity. So I'm really lucky for that. So I think that's why I want to keep it sort of there in me. And with the Welsh language as well, I would love to, I want to do a lot of, so in CDT they really preach like that you embrace your culture, embrace who you are.
That's brilliant.
And it's so good. So like the other day, we're doing, our singing project is to do a folk song in your language, and Wales is full of them. And so I've got one that I love, and it's called My Hiraeth yn Fy Nghalon, and it translates to There's a Longing in My Heart. And it's about like Welsh history and the Welsh. And the other day we had to say it as a monologue, as you do. And I remember I felt so proud to just be stood there saying it. I felt so empowered, and it's quite a journey in the song. You're angry, and then you come to this like light, and you're like, wait, there's hope. So it's quite, and it was really nice doing it, knowing nobody understands what I'm saying. and like I could have said anything, but what I mean is, it was nice because they understood. I love that they felt the emotion. It didn't need to be understood. You felt the emotion. So anyway, I really, really love incorporating the Welsh language into it and being proud of that, because that just means a lot to me.
I think it's so important for drama schools and for parts of the industry to be inclusive in that sense. Different languages, different cultures, and to allow that to be explored in the topics that we're covering. Bird do a good job. We have lots of international students in our acting class. Two of the Portuguese students did the whole scene that we were studying in Portuguese.
Wow.
And none of us could understand what they were saying, but we could all understand what was happening really well.
And I think that's so powerful, and that's why languages are so interesting. And like, coming from where I'm from, it was a lot of just English Welsh, and I think that was a lot more than other places where it's just English. However, like, coming here now, there's so many. There's like Turkish, Danish, all these languages coming up, and it's just like beautiful to you and really refreshing to come to. And obviously, we were talking about this. Me and Kate were talking about this earlier. Like, coming here, it is like a culture shock being from, you know, in a good way, obviously. But I think it's so refreshing to be surrounded by this, by all these different people, all these languages, all this like inspiration from different places. And I think that is going to make it really, again, with the industry and how it's going, that sense of incorporating that into it is just beautiful and so empowering. And I think it shows a lot of people that they can do it nevertheless. You don't have to be, you know, a fluent English speaker. You can be, you know, English is your second language, and it doesn't matter. You can still, you know, go into it. It really is. This is one thing, and I know this is a lot of people say it and whatever, but obviously if you're going into auditions, I never know whether to look at the camera. I'm like,
I don't.
Side moment.
Myself.
Yeah. But with the going into auditions, and if you are beginning auditions, I wouldn't put any like stereotype to it or think that you have to be something specific. Just go in there and give what you want to give, show what you love, and that is where, and even if you've shown what you love and it isn't successful, that's okay, because there's another year that's going to be your year.
Yeah.
So, and you can say it as much, it's like when you're worrying and someone says, don't worry. It's like, oh, well, yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? But it's like, if you just have that in your mind and force yourself to think that, then you know that you haven't done anything like wrong. Do you know what I mean?
Just being authentic, being true to yourself.
Yeah, and that's beautiful. And the way the industry is going is authenticity is key.
Nice.
Like,
which is really nice.
It's beautiful.
Well, I think that might be a wrap. I don't want to keep you for any longer. I know that you've got places to be. Watching was it a show?
I'm going to see Othello,
which is very cool. So yes, we've been the Movement Theories podcast, the podcast that doesn't really talk about theories of movement much anymore. Maybe we should rebrand. I don't know, but I quite like it.
Could you translate movement theories into Welsh?
Theoriau symudiad.
There you go.
Wow. That makes it sound so much cooler. Maybe that should just be the new...
But then nobody would be able to say it.
It's very true. It's very true. So thank you everyone for watching. We hope that, I mean, if you stuck around this long, then I can probably take a fair guess that you've enjoyed what we've been talking about. And so please do, you know, follow the channel and whatnot on different social media to stay in the loop. We love what we're doing here. We're glad that you guys are watching, and let us know what you'd like to see in the future, and maybe different topics or different people that you think we should get on, because we love having conversations.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for watching. My name's Josh. This has been Sophie.
Thank you.
And this is the Movement Theories podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.